Okay, it's time for a brand new fabulous folded card, and today we have the Bouquet pop-up card, and this is going to make a card. In fact, let me show you what it's going to do. So here's the one that was used when we did the sample, and when you open it, pop. There is the bouquet popping up, and you can see the flowers. How fun that these were done with patterned as well as solid papers. And let me just show you. So this is our regular 5 by 6.5 inch card. Now, when this was created, Debbie used 2 6 by 6 papers. So she began with the gingham. Now, obviously, she used the red gingham. She cut it in half and glued a half to the front at the top and a half to the front at the bottom. Then she went into the sunflower collection, and that's where you get that bright pop of color, and just glued that into the center. How nice. The cutouts are part of the paper collection, but then you see the flowers here, and you see the flowers also on the inside here. So she took another 6 by 6 and glued it in the center. You want to be sure to score it and get it really tight into that fold so it doesn't buckle. And then she die cut the bouquet and the flowers out of it. Now, some of the flowers are right here, but others go up onto the card itself. So really nice. So it just pops up, hence the name, Bouquet Pop-Up Card. So let me show you some ideas that Teresa has in exploring this cutting die. But let me show you first what the die looks like. So you're going to get 14 pieces. So you get not only this is the bouquet by itself, the flower holder. And then you get 13 more dies because you need something to go into the bouquet, don't you think? So we've got the leaves, we've got 3 different, actually 4 different flower shapes in multiple sizes so that you can layer them, you can use them individually. The tiniest ones come on 1 strip, so that's just 1 pass to get 4 of them, so that works nicely. Now, on the back of the package, which is true of all of the Fabulous Folded, there are the instructions. So it's in what we call a wallet holder, so you can just tuck everything back in, and it just keeps it all together with the instructions. Now, the instructions are pretty simple, so you're just going to die cut everything. And let me show you. So I'm going to scoot these over and bring in a piece. So this was die cut. And when you do that, it's going to look like this. It's the same shape on each side. But when you die cut it, you're going to get the score lines. And the score lines all get folded into what we call mountain folds. And there are 3 of them. Then you're going to take our friend, our ever friend with the fabulous folded dies, and that is the extra sticky tape. Now this is the 1/4 inch. It also comes in 1/2 inch. And we're going to take that and we're going to attach it on the outside of this piece, and then also within that first score line, okay? Now, I do have to tell you that adding those 4 pieces of extra sticky tape are really just going to hold it firmly into your card base. I guess it might have been an error, but we, in doing the instructions, we only had 2 pieces instead of 4. So take your red pen and just make another line there so that you remember that you're going to need 4 pieces, okay? Now, then this is going to be, as I said, mountain folded. Then these pieces are going to go like this into your card. As a matter of fact, on the instructions, there's an illustration right there. This is going to go on each side of your score line on the inside of your card. Okay, just like that. And it just flattens out perfectly. Okay, so that's the news, that you do want to have something that will function like a bone folder. That way you can make sure that each of those score lines is nice and firm and will hold down perfectly when you have this inside your card. Okay, now we can go to what Teresa has shared with us. Now this is a slimline card, as you can probably tell. And look at that cascade of flowers on the front. Yes, those were all done with the cutting die. Now, I don't want to hold the tension too much, but let me open this up And there you go. There is the bouquet holder just popping up, and how dramatic that is in the black dot. Now that and all of the materials are from the Sweet Pea collection, and Teresa used the 12 by 12 papers. In fact, you can see this pattern. And then she also used the Sweet Pea solid cardstock, solid color. And so that's used on the front of her card. Also on the front, she used the die cuts. Now the die cuts, there are 31 pieces in the Sweet Pea collection, as there are in all of the die cut collections. And you can see that that's been foam taped on top. And she did use the pink ribbon set, as you can see, the sheer piece. So she wrapped it around that matted card right here, the matted pattern paper, before she glued it onto her card front. Now Teresa likes to do that because she feels like that way no cut edges get frayed. So that worked nicely. She's going to put a bow on top of that, so that works too. Now into the flowers, which is typical of Teresa, and I think just an excellent idea. Let me bring some of these die cut flowers for you. So her technique that she uses pretty regularly is to take one of the blending brushes and the ink pad. So anything that's green, she's going to use Pine Tree or any green ink. And you do want to bring out your craft mat. So I'm just going to tuck one in here just to briefly show this. So she places that, and then she'll go with the ink and bring it in from the edges like so. And it will just do a nice job of giving a bit more depth. So you get some shading on the outside. And of course, we all know the blending brushes are just kind of super for that. So let me show you. So there's just a bit more depth. In fact, you can kind of see it against this area of the initial leaf pattern. So it just works really well. So she did that on all of the green. On the pinks, she used plum jam. Same process as you can see right here. It just gives a bit more depth, and then layering them just works nicely. So that's just a Teresa technique that I think works really well so many places. So you can see how she has them cascading, letting those leaves become the base and bringing it down. Now she did use on the centers of these, this is the strawberry crystals. Now the crystals are pretty new, they're flat. There are multiple sizes in here, and they just add a little sparkle, as you can see. Now, speaking of sparkle, Teresa took also the butterfly cutting die, and you can see that there are 3 layers. Now, she cut the solids out of vellum, and this was a colored vellum, and you'll see it on the listing below. And then she also die cut the top one out of the pink glitter cardstock and glued them together, and you can see how beautiful that looks, both areas. So you get the vellum sheerness behind the glitter, and that just does a nice job. Now the Thinking of You, that comes from our Tiny Words and Phrases, Pearls and Pastels. You can see obviously that is in pink. Okay, well, let's go inside, because that's where the bouquet pop-up is. And like I said, she did use the black, which I think is just so stunning. Now, this piece is again out of the 12 by 12. She cut 2 pieces and just kind of brought them together in the center. Debbie had done on this one, she used just 1 piece of paper and just made sure that it was glued securely in the fold. So those are certainly 2 ways that you can accomplish that. Now, as you can see, this has been glued in. The flowers, like the first one, there are flowers on the bouquet itself, and then more on the card. This is the die cut, more of the butterflies, more of the crystals, and how pretty. That combination of light and dark with the medium tones is just a no-fail technique to use. So you can use the bouquet on a slim line, but you can also use it on the front of your card. Now, how are you going to do that, you might ask? Well, what Teresa shows us is you can take this piece. In fact, what she's done here is she has overlapped the layers. There you go. Can you see that? She overlapped them, glued them together, and then she put some foam tape on the inside here. She wanted to keep this kind of poochy. You don't have to do that. You can let it go down flat. But I thought it was really smart to put this on the front of your card. Now, that's going to work with any paper you use, don't you think? I think so. So again, simply take your piece, overlap them, and then you can glue it down to your card front. You don't really have to use the extra sticky tape there because this isn't going to be pulled. It's going to go flat. I have to say I do like the idea of the foam tape to just give it a little bit of depth. Now you can see the flowers and where they are. For this card, she has used the Secret Garden. Now that's a favorite around here. And this is the 12 by 12 that she's used. So you can see and how smart this is to let the patterned paper become part of what's going on. So these leaves, even that butterfly, that's all part of the patterned cardstock. So she has cut this to be smaller than her 5 by 6.5 inch card. You can see that she also did some edging on that sheet. You see how this is blue on the edges? Well, just like I showed you on the flowers, in this case, she took the Midnight ink pad and did the same thing with the blending brush, just taking it around that whole edge, again, just to give it a bit of a frame. Okay, now with that, she has also die cut all of those flowers, and that's also out of the Secret Garden Coordinating Solid Cardstock. You can just see all of the colors that are going on. So she's going to need several ink pads. So she used the Tiger Orange. She also used the Damson Wine. I showed you the Midnight. But then she also used the Plum Jam and the Pine Tree. So lots of colors because there are lots of colors. The other thing she did that I thought was really, I haven't seen before, I just always love it when there's something I haven't seen before, is that she folded those flowers. So she took, let me see if I can grab one. She took the rounded ones, well actually she took all of them and simply folded them. So you would want to, you could certainly take your bone folder and your scoring tool, or if you have fingernails like I do, you can just do it this way. And so then you've got kind of more of a cup shape. And I think that you can see she has done that with almost all of them, just folded them. Now that's a small thing, but I think along with the inking of the edges, I think it's a really great look. And the way that these flowers were designed is you don't have to stay with the same shaped of flower to layer them. You can see that she's got one that has lots of petals on top of one that has just 5 petals, with another one that's the tiny ones that come 4 together. Same thing here. So you can do some fun things. The other thing I like that she's done, and Teresa has experience as a flower designer, so she's done arrangements. In fact, she did a ton of books for us at Hot Off the Press. So she's got a leaf going here as well as here, kind of creating a base for these flowers. But I like the fact that she's brought them down, so that looks really, really nice. Now, the other thing that she's done is, do you see along the edge of her bouquet holder? That is a fancy border, and it comes in this package of fancy borders that are pearl and, let's see, they're pearl and pastel. So there's a ton in there, and the green is just one of the colors. So that's been added right here. The You Are a Blessing, well, that comes from the Secret Garden die cuts, and you can see it right there. That's been foam taped on top. Now, what about those butterflies? Well, they are part of a collection called Roses and Butterflies. And aren't they pretty? Now, these, let me open this package just to show you. They come in silver and gold, and obviously you are looking at the gold one there. In fact, there's the silver. And she has taken these, and they have a clear material that they're foiled on. Okay, so see how that's clear? In fact, you can see the black. Ooh, isn't that striking? So she placed it onto the Secret Garden paper, and then just used the 4.5-inch professional scissors to just go right around the edge. Lift up the antenna. Please do not try to cut around them. That will drive you crazy. And then foam tape them, just the body, to the front of her card. Isn't that pretty? And there's a second one. So this is a beautiful look. And that transparent material with the golded edges, well, that's just pretty special too. So that's the front of our card. Now, what did she do on the inside? Well, she used that pattern paper, another of the butterflies. These are the die cuts, and then more of the flowers right there. So that bouquet is right on top, and it's just stunning. I think you could do this out of suede paper, out of holographic, out of glitter would be so pretty, as well as vellum. So lots of ways that you can use that. Okay, I have one more idea for you from Teresa, and this is a Christmas card. Now, this is a 5x5 card, so you can take your your 5 by 6.5 inch card and just trim it down to be 5x5. That will work. Now, what she has done is some very fun things. Let's see, let me show you the papers that she used on the front. This is Christmas Aglow, which is the brand new papers this year. And you can see that she took this one and covered the front of her card with it. So that works nicely. Now, the papers, or the flowers, they're suddenly poinsettias. How clever is that? And she has used the multiple reds that are out of the Christmas Aglow cardstock and has layered them there. Now, Teresa used a cutting die that just sold out. It was one that had the holly leaves. So I give you a substitute, and I think that out of the stems and leaves cutting die, that leaf, although it's not a holly, I think it will give you the idea of greenery behind the poinsettias, because, you know, holly doesn't necessarily come with poinsettias. It's just part of the season, but any of the green would work. Now, you can see that she's layered them. In fact, there's 1, 2, 3 layers, and that just works nicely. Now, to get a touch of shine, she has used the gold jewel dazzles, and those are multiple circles, as you know. The Holly Jolly, well, the Holly Jolly is part of the Christmas greetings. Now, the Christmas greetings comes in multiple colors, but it also has 2 dies. One that's the tiny words, and the other one that's the script, Merry Christmas. So obviously the tiny words and phrases she used there. So it's the Holly Jolly. And she did on the edges, you know, I've talked about the inking the edges. Well, on these, she used the Bordeaux ink pad. So, so any reddish will work nicely. Okay, are you ready? So what would she do with the bouquet on the inside? Well, the clever woman turned it into a Christmas tree. What do you think about that? I think it's brilliant. So let me show you how she did that. Now, as you have seen, the bouquet is made to be like this. So what Teresa did is she did the same thing, but then she cut away. In fact, she drew it right here. So she cut away the scallops, or she cut away this top part. So simply place it like this, draw around there, and then open this up and trim it. Okay, and that's going to give you the bottom part of your tree. How fun is that? I thought it was brilliant. And then she's got two papers. Again, she likes to do it in two pieces, just along the inside of her card. Obviously, this is going to be attached with the extra sticky tape. But then what she did is she took the thin line dazzles and that package, and she placed the lines, the thin lines going like this to be the garland on her tree. And I mentioned the jewel dazzles. Well, she used the red and the green for ornaments. And because they come in 3 different sizes, you get a variety of looks on the inside of your card. What do you think? I think it's brilliant. Okay, so then she has taken, and these are the cutouts that also are in the pattern paper, and then a little bit more of the poinsettias now that she has created. So all of that is just a wonderful finish. So I think that we have nicely justified the purchase of the Bouquet pop-up card. So you can make them into Christmas trees. You can use them to be the front of your card, or as designed to be a pretty amazing bouquet pop-up on the inside of your card. Just wonderful. Thank you, Teresa. Brilliant woman once again. We rely on her each time. And did you know that Teresa designs the dies too? So that makes it even more special for us. So you can see all of the instructions down below. Click on any of the cards. You can see all 3 that she has made. And the Money Saver on the right side of your screen. Let me tell you what I did with the Money Saver. So I thought the Christmas tree was so brilliant and really timely that if you buy the pop-up on the Money Saver, you are going to get these 3 for free. How's that? Really fun. Now, if you are part of our subscription, yes, I have to mention it each time. The subscription means that every month you will get the brand new Fabulous Folded die set, and you will get them before we have this webisode. So that's nice. So you've got it in your hands and you can quickly go off to make beautiful things. Now you do get a discount and you do get the free goodie each month. Of course, this month you get 3 things. I hope that's okay. Just wanted to share that with you. So if you are interested, over on the right side of your screen, you will see the subscription. You can sign up and you can do the Money Saver. If you are seeing this on YouTube, we hope that you will like our channel and that you will subscribe. Then please head on over to paperwishes.com. Take advantage of the Money Saver, maybe even the subscription also. So I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you, Teresa, for another excellent creativity session with you, and we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.